Howdy folks, Keywii here, and welcome back to Steins Gate, a safe space in which we awesome, where we are just getting back into things. Things are alright. You know what? We're doing good. So, or do I live things as they are and accept Mayuri's death? I can't run away. I am the one who twisted fate. Is it asking me to do the thing? I don't know. I'm the one who must decide. Now, to reorient ourselves a little bit, the choice is, do we choose Kirisu or do we choose Mayuri? Kirisu being alive implies we do the D-mail. Mayuri being alive implies we do... No, Kirisu implies time leaping, and Mayuri implies the D-mail. Doing the D-mail is when we fucking... I shouldn't have left this for 24 hours. Shouldn't leave cliffhangers all the time. It's very hard to get back into it mentally. Sky is blue. The goddamn sky is blue! On the roof of Ratty... That's a liar reference. On the roof of Ratty Can, after going back 56 hours with 2 full time leaps, I lean against the wire fence and stretch out my legs as I look at the sky. I wanted more time to think, that's why I came back. Last time I spent 2 days refusing to face reality. But that is no longer an option, now that I've confirmed Mayuri's death. This time I need to reach a decision. But how? This equation has no solution. No matter what choice I make, somebody dies. From a purely utilitarian viewpoint, I should choose the beta world line, where CERN never creates a dystopia. But it's not that simple. Not for me. I mean, it's simple for everyone else, just not for you. There must be some other way. According to Suzuha, 2010 is a point of great divergence at the attractor field level. I think that divergence had already commenced by the time I sent the D-mail reporting Kirisu's death. So when did divergence begin? I can't say for sure, but I think it was the moment we completed the phone wave name subject to change. That was around the middle of July. Dara and I deemed it a failure right after completion. By the time Kirisu was killed, there was already a huge divergence at the attractor field level. Now that I think about it, reading Steiner activated that day when I sent the D-mail that started it all. At that moment, every pedestrian and vehicle on the main street of Akiba suddenly vanished. They didn't vanish, they were never there. That feels so long ago. But now I can finally explain it. That was the moment I moved to the Alpha World Line. On the Beta World Line, where all this began, Suzuha didn't arrive in her time machine, Dr. Nakabachi's conference went ahead as planned, and the flow of tourists and shoppers through Akiba was unimpeded. But when I sent the D-mail, events changed on a huge scale, from my perspective at least. On the current world line, Suzuha crashed her time machine into the roof of Ratty Can, Nakabachi's presentation was cancelled, and this part of Akiba was closed to traffic. Because I was out on the street when the world line changed, it appeared to me as if thousands of people suddenly vanished. The truth is that they were never there to begin with. Yeah, I'm always ahead of this game. I'm always guessing correctly. I just don't give it time to get there itself. And you know what? I should probably stop, but, you know, I like feeling smart. So I'm going to continue. Like a magician's trick, it's so obvious once you understand how it works. The real problem is the timing of the D-mail. I moved to the Alpha World Line after Kirisu died. If I had sent the D-mail before she died, then I might have been able to intervene, even now, on this world line. But no, that would defy causality. I sent the D-mail because I saw Kirisu's body. That's the way it has to be. Yeah. Who killed her anyway? I still don't know. It definitely wasn't suicide. What if I identify the murderer and send them a D-mail warning them off? Would that prevent her death? I mean, no one has tried to kill her on this world line, have they? Maybe there's a chance. However, to send that D-mail, I would first have to move to the Beta world line. The more I think about it, the more futile it seems. I've already seen Mayuri die countless times. Everything I tried to prevent it failed. I understand it all too well. When fate wants something dead, nothing can stop it. I can't save Karasu, but somebody might be able to save me. Ah, there you are. I thought I was alone, but it seems I was wrong. I turn around to see Karasu standing in the open door. I avert my eyes. I can't look at her in the face. Not now. What are you doing here? Nothing. How'd you know I was here? You said you wanted to be alone. I ran the numbers and concluded that I had the greatest possibility of finding you here. Also, I'm not a nerd. Don't say that. Then leave me alone. You don't have to look for me. I'm not lost, little boy. Hey, is that how you treat someone who's worried about you? Not that I'm worried about you or anything, so how you treated me is irrelevant. You could treat me like that just fine. Like she's trying to hide her feelings, but like all logic points to the fact that, you know, what she's saying means nothing if her feelings aren't a factor. Right after she gets herself flustered, Karasu sighs and puts on a serious expression. Well, I was going to leave you alone at first. But you've been acting weird the last couple days. I mean, you're always weird, but more than usual. How do you know how I usually am? We've known each other for like a month. Not even. You look like a kid forced to eat crappy oatmeal. That's a new one. What happened? Nothing. Why did you cancel the cracking of sun? You're the one who said we shouldn't. Oh, so you're afraid of triggering arrest flags. I get it. You should praise me, sir, for observing the law for a change. That's not you at all. Like you at all. What happened to your ego? What happened to the insane mad scientist? Hououin Kyouma. Hououin. To hell with my ego. Oh, damn. Yeah, she's surprised because he's suddenly very different. This time it's not that simple. I forced my ego on others before. Suzuha, Ferris, Lukiko. I sacrificed their dreams for the sake of my goal. I justified it by telling myself that it was necessary to save Mayuri. I weighed their suffering against the alternative and made my self-righteous choice. But this time, the alternatives are impossible to compare. I have to choose which friend to let die. It would be so much easier if I knew what was right. Which friend to let die? What are you talking about? I'm just a student, Christina, you know? The insane mad scientist Hououin Kyouma? It's just a fantasy, a character I made up. I bet you had no idea. I may have figured that out when we first met. When we first met. What if I hadn't found Kirisu's body back then? Let's try imagining that situation. If I hadn't seen Karasu dead, I wouldn't have interrogated her before the seminar at ATF. Without hearing me call her a zombie, she wouldn't have taken an interest in me. She wouldn't have come to the lab. Ultimately, we would never have built the time leap machine, leaving me without the means to save Mayuri. And of course, Karasu would not have become our friend. We would not be as close as we are right now. Tell me, Okabe, what do you mean? I can't meet her questioning glaze. Is that what that said? Hang on. Gaze. I was so confused. I'm like, that doesn't... I don't know why, but that's wrong. Do I have to tell you? You've never hesitated to ask me for help before. Don't hold back now. It's not what this is about. Then prepare yourself. What I'm about to tell you is the absolute truth. And it could also be your death sentence. What? If she were, like, not taking him seriously in any way, like, just taking him as he normally is, she would be like, alright, enough of the dramatics. Kirisu's voice cracks a little. Remember what I told you before? When we delete the D-mail from CERN's database, we'll reach the beta world line where Mayuri doesn't die. And where CERN doesn't take over the world, right? Everyone lives, everyone is free, you made it sound perfect. Perfect. It's anything but. I showed you the first email, didn't I? The one that started it all? On the Beta World line, the events described in that email actually happened. Kirisu is a genius. I have no doubt that she understands. Kirisu, on the Beta World line, you die on July 28th. Maybe you could get to the Seda? Celtic? Kappa? Whatever the C is, you can get to that world line. And according to the attractor field model, nothing can prevent that from happening. If I want to save Mayuri, I have no choice but to let you die. I should really let him talk, because you can feel the emotion, and I'm not providing any. But you know, Kirisu says nothing. What expression is she making now? I reluctantly sneak a look at her face. She's staring out across the cityscape. Her eyes look distant. I see neither fear nor sadness in her face. She seems accepting. Kirisu is always like this. Always calm, no matter what. It's hard to believe she's younger than me. Only by a year. It's not like you're both basically the same. I'm gonna go off on a slight tangent here, but the older you get, the more the gap of age of people who you consider younger or older than you changes. I'm 28, right? My roommate and best friend is over a full year younger than me, but I'd consider us the same age. Just because I'm not a teenager anymore, you know? That's not really that important to me. Her soft chestnut hair blows in the wind. She lifts a hand to hold it down. Hey, Okabe. How credible do you find this attractive field model? Credible? It's all second-hand from John Taida. From Amane-san, isn't it? I get that it's the accepted model in 2036. But how exactly did scientists prove the existence of attractive fields? Are you trying to say the model may be wrong? But I know for certain that convergence exists. I've experienced it firsthand. Even if they're right about convergence, what about the relationship between world lines? The moment I change world lines, everything is reconstructed, past, present, and future. But that's just from your perspective, Okabe. Once you go to the beta world line, the me that your brain perceives will die. In other words, your perspective will have chosen the world line where I die instead of the one where I don't. However, why can't the world your brain perceives be different from the world my brain perceives? Brains. I forgot her specialty was neuroscience. So you're saying world lines are independent? Like trains, maybe. Trains of thought? Let me give you an easy example. Kirisu takes out her phone and starts fiddling with it. If I want to take the train from Akiba to Yokohama, which route should I use? I didn't know you were a rail fan. She might not be. It could just be a question. Short for railroad fanatic. An otaku with an interest in trains. Oh shit, me and also quite a few people I know are this. Alright, I'll be sure to tell my buddy Connor JMF that he's a rail fan. I'm sure he'll understand that immediately. It's just an example, jeez. You choose to take the Yananate line to Tokyo Station, then transfer to the Tokaido line, main line, for the rest of your trip. Kirisu keeps talking as she looks at her phone, apparently reading off an itinerary. But I take the Yamanate line to Osaki, then transfer to the Shonan Shinjuku line. Another person, say Ishida-san, might decide to take the Keihin Tohoku line for some reason. Mayuri might ride the Shinkansen from Tokyo. You and I ride the same train until Tokyo Station, but from there we ride different lines, while still aiming for the same destination. And that applies to the universe? You're claiming the existence of parallel worlds? I'd like to use my imagination too, sometimes. But where's the proof that there's only one world? Suzuha said so. And then there's reading Steiner. In other words, an unknown time traveler and your unexplainable superpower. But we knew Suzuha. There's no way to prove that she was Hashida's daughter, or anything she said about 2036 either. Not without going there ourselves. And if reading Steiner is what you say, then it means that your subjective experience influences the memories of every single human being. That's completely absurd, Okabe. If that's true, then you're literally a god. But there are no gods in reality. Oh, take that, people who fucking believe in gods. Dude, fucking clip that. The world doesn't revolve around you. That's just your brain making you believe that it does. Oh, so many relevant things being said right now. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's so relevant. It hurts. If that makes you this world's god, then I must be a god too. My brain is just as big as yours. In fact, I'd argue that I know more than you. What are you trying to say? Let's say you choose the world line where I die. That doesn't mean I have to do the same. The fact is that I am standing here right now observing the world with my own subjectivity. I already exist on a world line where I don't die. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, I was thinking about that in, when was it? Well, in the last few episodes. I was thinking, like, if Okabe, you know, uses the if Okabe dies and someone else uses the time leap machine, then it's not... Then it's still predetermined that he'll die, because from someone else's perspective, that's what is happening. So they use a time leap machine. It's not Okabe going back, it's them going back to do things in a different place. So yeah, I didn't mention it, but that made perfect sense to me at the time, and I don't know, it just never came up. Even if your perspective shifts to the beta world line, my perspective might remain here. It's a question of where the soul lies, and I won't let you have your way with my soul. I like that line, that's good. So, in the many worlds interpretation, there's a bunch of people, there's a bunch of perspectives, but there's only one of each. The soul is only on one world line, so hypothetically, on this world line, the only soul is mine because I'm my perspective, and everyone else is different, or something. I don't know. That's getting into some metaphysics that I'm going to talk to my good friend about, but oh boy, is that something. No true scientist would accept a hypothesis that flimsy. But there's a chance I'm right. Just a chance. So you have nothing to worry about. Karisu smiles. How can she smile? I just told her that she's going to die. The problem is that you don't want to let me die, right? But if my hypothesis is correct, I'll still be alive on another possible world line. So there's no reason to be afraid. It's just a hypothesis. The same is true of attractive fields. It hasn't been proven, even if someone did prove it by 2036. That doesn't help us here in the present. Karisu, I get where you're coming from, but, like, the words you're choosing to say specifically? Science is science regardless of when it's proven. If you go back 300 years, you know, penicillin still is a thing. You can still discover that yourself. It still exists. Like, it can still be made. Manufactured. They just didn't know how. In other words, anything is possible. With time travel. Time travel! Do a fucking 80s television show. Kirisu turns her back to me after finishing. It's an armchair theory. I don't know what that means. A daring armchair theory that could, quite possibly, render meaningless everything I've done up to now. Before we go and save the episode and that sort of shit, let's take a look at what an armchair theory is. Ah, it's not on this list. I've been had. Only one more A thing left. Thank you guys so much for watching. I, of course, am Keywii. You've been great too, and yourself a delightful day. Goodbye.